Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Shakira Pear. In the headlines, final phase of rehabilitation has begun on the JALOUSIE road in Castleburst, and FISHERFOK urged to be efficient with supply for new hotel developments. Details of the headline stories and more coming up. Welcome back. Minister for Fisheries Honorable Reginald Austrie has called on FISHERFOK to be efficient with the catch of the day in order to meet the demands of the hotels being constructed. Government, through the Citizenship by Investment program, has constructed several hotels across the island. Nearing completion are the Jungle Bay Resort and Spa in Monokuma, Soufriere, with a scheduled opening in June, and the Cabritz Resort Kempinski in Douglas Bay, Portsmouth, scheduled to be open in November this year. Honorable Austrie told the FISHERFOK that these hotels will be requiring large quantities of fish.
When in the Portsmouth recently, when they gave us the statistics, and the PS have a nice way of doing it, that for the year, each of those hotels would be requiring anywhere from about £500,000, because you do the maths, one person eat how much, the PS knows to calculate it. So we landing £1 million of fish, 1.5 million, is not sufficient if we have to supply those hotels and to supply our own local population. So there goes a requirement that we as fishermen have to up our game, not only in the quantity of fish we can land, but also the quality of fish that we can land. Because it will mean that we'll have to go through a process of processing the fish. We'll have to clean it, we'll have to slice it up, we'll have to standardize it, we'll have to cut it, and we'll have to become real professionals as far as fish is concerned.
The Fisheries Minister said if Dominica cannot meet the required amount of fish the hotels demand, they will enter into contracts with other Caribbean countries for regular supply of fish.
If we cannot supply locally sufficient fish for those hotels, they will enter into contracts with other countries like Antigua and St. Kitts and Montserrat, where they have, and St. Vincent, where they have large fishing industries, where they use trawlers, they go out on sea for days and they come back. So you may well find those hotels will sign contracts with those other countries to bring in fish. And if they sign a contract, normally they would sign a 6 months to a 1 year or 2 year contract. Now once these other countries get into the market, then it blocks us out of the own market for those hotels. And there's no need or no use or no good reason that we should build a hotel in Dominica and the people of Dominica cannot take advantage of the financial benefits and the financial opportunities that can be derived from those hotels.
Honorable Austrie says if the FISHERFOK have to provide fish for the 5-star hotels, the service should be at the 5-star level.
And even what we're doing in Fokole, we're trying to raise the standards, elevate the standards. So you wash it properly, you cut it properly, you slice it properly, you package it properly, and most importantly, you have to keep it at the right temperature. Because as I understand it, you don't freeze fish, you have to chill it. You have to chill it so you can maintain the quality at the right temperature, at the right time, and for how long. So we have a practice where we put ice in the cooler and we go out, and we believe that the fish is well taken care of. but the amount of hours that fish will stay in the cooler, if we don't treat it in a scientific manner, while the fish may look good, you may notice the color start to change a little bit. It's not as red, it's getting a little pinkish, and that means the quality of the fish continues to deteriorate. And so we have to be very careful.
The final phase of rehabilitation has begun on the JALOUSIE Road in Castle Bruce. According to parliamentary representative for the Castle Bruce constituency, Honorable Johnson Drago, government has invested over $400,000 on that project. He detailed other aspects of the project occurring simultaneously to ensure resilience.
We are happy that government has been able to source funds well over $400,000 to do the final phase of the main road in Castle Bruce, which is the JALOUSIE Road. So we're in what we call the Wakama area. This road from here goes all the way to join with the main road, which leads to the Kalinago territory. So the people living in this area have had some difficulty in traversing this road over the years. What we had done in the past is that we had contractors doing the brush cutting and so on, but we were unable to pave it. As you can see, they are now putting in all the retaining walls and using new technology, which is more suited for climate change, and so we're very happy about that. Also, the main ravine on this project is being dredged as well, and we're very, very happy for the project.
Castle Bruce resident Martha Nation told GIS News she is pleased with the project thus far and encouraged the parliamentary representative to continue his efforts in building the community.
Very good, big improvements, and I'm happy to see the road like that. It was smaller, not a track. Vehicles would pass by, but it wasn't in good condition. So I'm happy to see it getting fixed now. Plenty, thank you. Continue the good works. And I appreciate everything they do.
Local resident Eileen Mingo is pleased with the status of the project.
I think for how it was, it comes very good. Very good. And the person that organized that is a good person, a very hard work. It was miserable.
Minister for Culture, Honorable Robert Tonge, says that culture remains a definite and important aspect of Dominica. He made that statement while speaking at a concert held in Kulibistri last week. The concert formed part of the activities of the annual Dominica Festival of Arts, Dumfesta. Dumfesta was launched officially in April under the theme Building Communities Through Culture. Tong stated that this year's staging of Dumfesta is significant as the country continues to rebuild following Hurricane Maria.
The Dominica Festival of Arts, also known as Dumfesta, was officially launched in April 2019. And as Mr. Lawrence said, this year's theme is Building Communities through Culture. And as we know, culture is important to us because it defines us, our identity. Culture helps us to understand our ancestral values and gives us the very meaning of life. It also makes us unique from other parts of the world. And all of us know that Dominica is a very unique place. This year's Dumfesta takes on even more significance and importance as we're still on a rebuilding and recovering mode post-Maria. So whilst many of us have our homes, we have our roofs, there are some persons who are still suffering, and we all have to do our best to help them.
Honorable Tong added that as part of the ministry's goal to get citizens to appreciate culture, many divisions host festivals such as Dumfesta and school art festivals to get citizens involved.
Each year the division is engaged in numerous training activities and programs with regards to arts. We stage various festivals and events including Dumfesta, Schools Art Festival, Emancipation celebrations and independence celebrations, including the promotion of Creole language, culture and folk research. We need to continue to capitalize on these events, especially the World Creole Music Festival, to ensure that we can continue to build our country as a whole.
Training began this week at the Office of Disaster Management in Jimit for residents of communities across the island who will be first responders following natural disasters. Program Officer at the Office of Disaster Management, Donaldson Frederick, says the Community Emergency Response Team training, which is funded by the United Nations Development Program, will cover several aspects of emergency response, including search and rescue, as well as disaster medical operations.
The Community Emergency Response Team CERT training program educates people about disaster preparedness for hazards that may impact their area and train them in basic disaster response skills, such as, like I said earlier on, fire safety, light search and rescue, disaster medical operations, using the training learned. You'll be able to use that training out in the community.
Frederick told participants they will also be expected to use their training in non-disaster situations and provide support to their community when needed.
CERT members will not only be engaged in disaster management related activities, but will also be encouraged to function in non-disaster management roles. When I say non-disaster management roles, I'm talking about if the community has an event, it would be important that you assist them. You provide some support to ensure that the community and the area where they operate in is safe. Okay? So throughout this week, I want to encourage you to do your best. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have the theoretical aspect of it, and then we will do the practical aspect of it. There are supervisors that will be there to grade you, to monitor you, and to look at your performance, and as well as the instructors to supervise and assist you throughout this week.
Fire officer and CERT instructor Mr. Greenfield Defoe encouraged participants to pass on their newly acquired knowledge.
Our responsibility here is to train various persons in the different communities that will be able to take care of the community, take care of themselves in the event of a small-scale emergency, and that is before first responders or professional help gets into that community, because we can be aware after disaster that the persons within the communities are the first persons to be on the ground doing the actual work. So throughout this week that we're going to train you with the necessary skills and knowledge that you can go back into the community and not just hold that information to yourself, but you can pass it on to others, because you're going to be needing as much help after a disaster as you can get.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Thanks for staying with us. Last week, Honorable Foreign Minister Francine Baron received in Roseau her counterpart from Colombia, Foreign Minister Dr. Carlos Holmes Turria Garcia, and his delegation. The Commonwealth of Dominica established diplomatic relations with the Republic of Colombia in 1992. This is the second visit of a foreign minister of Colombia to Dominica. According to a press release, during the visit of the Colombian delegation, discussions were held by the two parties on matters of mutual interest at the regional and bilateral levels. Discussions on the regional matters included the first ministerial summit between Colombia and CARICOM scheduled for the 29th of June 2019, the Colombia and CARICOM trade agreement, as well as matters related to the OAS and Venezuela. The bilateral discussions focused on technical cooperation, security, disaster preparedness, health, and academic opportunities. The two sides discussed in particular the ongoing project on cassava development being supported by Colombia in the Calinago territory and cooperation in the area of water resource management and skills training, among other matters of mutual interest. The parties also took the opportunity to conclude the signing of a visa waiver agreement between Dominica and Colombia. This will allow citizens of both countries who are holders of diplomatic, official, and ordinary passports visa-free access to each other country. Honorable Barron thanked the Colombian foreign minister and his delegation for their visit to Dominica and pledged the willingness of Dominica and CARICOM to strengthen the bilateral and regional cooperation with the Republic of Colombia. The Cultural Division, in collaboration with the Dominica Institute for the Arts, DIFA, held a Song of the Cicero musical and a Coppelia ballet at the Goodwill Parish Hall last week. The Dominica Institute for the Arts, which has been operational for the past 7 years, has trained hundreds of Dominicans in various courses of artistic expressions. DIFA has 189 students enrolled. Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence says arts and culture are very important in terms of national identity.
In terms of providing a sort of more expanded education for our young people, a more wholesome and holistic form of education, that no matter what field we're in, whether it's medicine or law, it doesn't matter, that all of us need to know about our country. All of us need to know the history. We need to appreciate the culture of the country. Because I think most universities and colleges that you go to now, they want you to do something about your country. And you find the students have to get together to put on some kind of presentation about the country. So it means that you have to have an understanding and appreciation of the culture of your country. And this is what I think institutions like DIFA do for our people, giving us a greater understanding of our culture and at the same time promoting the artistic skills of our young people.
Lawrence gave details of the performances which took place at the event.
I know that two of the main features this afternoon are a musical written and directed by none other than Pearl Christian and performed by the DIFA choir. The musical is entitled Song of the Cicero, and another highlight I would think would be an excerpt from the ballet Coppelia, directed by the ballet tutor Rebecca Wathen. But of course we have contemporary dance, we have theater arts, we have some theater, some drama, and other presentations for you this afternoon, which I'm sure you will enjoy.
Here is a glimpse of some of the performances. And finally, this news time this weekend will mark the 49th celebration of the annual Charismatic Conference for the Catholic Church under the theme, I Alone Am God, Your Lord. Member of the Catholic Charismatic Renewal, Gloria Tavernier, says the event, which will be held in Portsmouth, will be presided by priests from Trinidad and Jamaica.
With us this weekend, we are going to have two presiders, one from Jamaica, which is Father Donald Chambers, and also from Trinidad and Tobago, which is Father David Can. Both of them will be in Dominica with us from tomorrow, and they will be assisting with the entire weekend program. We start off with a bang at 4:30 with the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and we continue with the introduction for the rest of the evening. On Saturday, we have a packed program where we start at 8 o'clock with Eucharistic celebration. From there, we continue with teachings, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, as usual, we have the healing and empowerment session.
Ms. Tavernier added the event also offers the opportunity for individuals to put forward any questions they may have about their faith and the church's teachings.
We also have opportunities where there are going to be plenary sessions where individuals are given the opportunity to ask questions, or if they want additional explanations as to what was in the teachings that they did not really understand very well. On Sunday, we again continue from 9 o'clock in the morning, and every day we start off with a vibrant praise and worship to set the pace for the day. And there are other sessions. We have lunch, we have a question and answering session where anybody who have any questions about their faith, about the faith, the Catholic faith, they can ask any question, and the priest, the visiting priest, will be available for the answers.
Tavernier invites individuals from all walks of life to participate in the activity and experience a fellowship with the church.
This Friday we go down to Portsmouth, and registration will also be from 4 o'clock in Portsmouth. So all in all, we are expecting a very Spirit-filled weekend. We know that when people come, they come to receive the blessings and the graces of Jesus Christ. Many are impacted, many are healed, many are delivered, and we are just looking forward to a Spirit-filled weekend. I know that during these weekends, there are many people who come not expecting anything, but they leave with receiving so much.
And that's National Focus. Coming up next, your tip of the day. Before a storm hits, coastal residents should form evacuation plans before a warning is issued to identify a safe shelter and a route to get there. Prepare for a hurricane by stocking up on emergency supplies including water, food, protective clothing, medications, batteries, flashlights, important documents, road maps, and a full tank of gasoline. Your weather advisory. A low-level trough is expected to produce some cloudiness with a few showers across the central and northern portions of the Lesser Antilles during the next 24 to 36 hours. Drier conditions are anticipated across the rest of the islands. Moderate seas are expected during the next 24 hours with waves peaking to 5.0 feet. The sun will rise at 5:45 a.m. That's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook as well as on Twitter at GIS Dominica. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Shakira Pear. Thanks for watching.